rights after
Vavele
that.
baba
And
right.
rights.
Right.
Ngiyangibona nje ukuthi ngiyismart tata. Ngathi ngiyasebenza.
Ngoba uright.
Ngoba ngi-right.
Uyasebenza ukhuluma ngani wena? Everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of Genesis Wholeness, Wellness. I am your co-host, Ginger in real life, but of course, I am not alone. I am with
Noluthando Matonsela.
and we are
the It Girls.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of our beloved pod. Wow, it's been 10 years since I said that. It's been so long. I think it's actually been over a month.
Yes,
that
it
I've
has.
said that.
It definitely has.
This podcast has been part of our lives so much so that watch hamba nje inyanga.
You don't feel
It
fine.
feels brand new.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at _Genesis Wholeness Wellness. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Ginger in real life. Nolu, where can people find you?
_unseller.
And that's on a period. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, please, please, please. It's free, mahala. It's mahala.
Free 99.
Yini free ngamanye language after mahala. Mahala in every language. Mahaler. Click the subscribe button now. Okay? Please. Siyacela. Okay, cool. Let's get into today's episode. We are doing a personal reflections on the year. You know, what has this year taught you? What's up with this year? How is that going? You know? Yeah. I'll just say before we start, I was actually telling my sister this morning. I was like, this year has been a 10 out of 10 in terms of like how amazing it was. But it's also been a 10 out of 10 in terms of how treacherous it was. It was bad. It was bad. There are some points of this year where I said,
am I going to make it?
I said, wow, like, angashoni. Like some mornings I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh, I'm not dead.
I'm alive. I'm still breathing.
That is crazy to me. That is so crazy to me.
Dude.
How has your year been? I
think chilled, man. Like, it hasn't been... Obviously, there are, like, downs, right?
Yeah.
But it's just been quite neutral.
Yeah. It's that time of the year, Vele, when people start thinking, what have I done this year? What have I done this year? There's about like what now? I'm gonna say about 61 days left of the year.
Yeah.
Which means we have crossed that's 300 days in this year.
Yeah. It's actually, you're right.
Yeah.
We've probably around 60, yeah.
Yeah. We've crossed 300 days of this year. In 300 days, what have you done?
With my time. With my life.
With your life, with your time. Ish, yani. I don't know why we're sighing like this, because it hasn't been a horrible year.
It hasn't. It really hasn't. I think it's just because our mood is a little.
Yeah.
But, okay. I think this year, if anything, has been a year of like transformation for me.
Wow, yes, that's the word. It's been such a transformative year.
I'm not the same girl
at all
I was last year, at all. You know, what I like, how I want to live my life, what I want to do, who I want to hang out with.
Yeah,
that's completely different. So I think in a very good way, God has transformed me in specific areas as well. Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about the contrast? Like, what did you like last year that this year you're just like, I can't believe I did that?
I will say the biggest thing is definitely alcohol. Because I had seen Uguti, especially last year, like I had seen Uguti, it had become a habit. Like where you just go out and then you end up drinking. And then before you know it, you're actually drinking every weekend. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But then you also say, no, I'm an occasional drinker. Mara when once on the weekend. Once on the weekend. You know? So I think that's the biggest transformation.
I think what I want to ask you is, I found like something you said very interesting, like how you wanted to live your life.
Yeah.
like, how is that different this year?
Okay, for starters, right? I will say, like, I wanted to, how I want to live. When I say how I want to live my life, right? I mean, like, my lifestyle choices.
Got you.
Right?
Okay.
So, where do I go? What kind of, for instance, last year I was okay with, like, gang, 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 groove.
Yeah.
But this year I'm just like, it's not gonna cut it, you know. And a big part of last year I was also going to church, right? But this year as well, like, it's been like a, let me go to church, like, he is on to skippy, and it's not even in like a, like he holier than thou, or every Sunday. No, it's just because, like, that's how I want to live my life. And if I actually saw this somewhere, or heard this somewhere, if you want, for instance, your kids, you need to start instilling those habits. So for me, I'm just thinking of it that way. I need to go to church every Sunday. I need to go to the gym. I need to take care of myself. I need to look after myself and look after the people around me, you know, so that even when my kids come, I can impart those things onto them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because if you go once a week, or I mean, not once a week, but like once every month. Once a month, your kids are going to pick that up as it's not necessary.
Yeah.
Jesus is not necessary. And again, Jesus is necessary.
Unnecessary. In fact, yithi esinnecessary.
Exactly.
Yeah, nah, he's the thing. There.
He's the thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Unnecessary way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ujesu, he's the.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yena vele sekade.
Yeah.
Wena unnecessary. Yeah.
And you? Like.
Yeah. This year has been very transformative for me as well. It's the alcohol thing, obviously. Stopped drinking this year. I went celibate this year.
Yeah. I don't mention it because obviously I don't have a boyfriend. Yeah. So it's just like
when I have no choice anyway. It's not by choice. It is. But I have no opportunity to practice celibacy. Yeah. So celibate this year. Man, I've done a lot of things that I had put on my cute little list in the beginning of this year.
You did.
Like, for example, we ran the marathon.
Yes.
I've done a lot more in terms of like my fitness.
Yes.
You've
done a lot more. Guys, have you seen Ginger?
Yes. Let's talk about it. I'm skinny. I'm skinny.
Ginger right now.
I'm skinny. I live in a crop top.
Listen.
Okay.
Period.
I've done a lot of that, you know. I managed to get braces this year.
Yes, that's you. I actually wanted to say that, but I was like, are you comfortable with me saying that?
I'm okay. I never had a problem with my smile before. But I was just like, I mean, if you can, why not?
Yeah.
You know, like, fix what you want to fix or whatever. And I mean, maybe I feel like I'm using the wrong word when I say fix because, like I said, I wasn't unhappy. I was fine.
You were fine,
But I was just like,
I think the right word would be improvements.
Maybe improve.
Yeah.
Maybe improve.
You were good, but there's always room.
There's always room for improvement. Absolutely. What else? I think the one thing that I didn't get to do this year is buy a new car. Last year I got into a car accident and I've wanted to get rid of my car ever since, you know.
That's true.
But I'm just like, you know what? Like, now I'm happy. Like, I went on vacation. And before
How was that, by the way?
Brilliant. Chef's kiss. But before I left, I was feeling like, oh my gosh, my car's breaking down. I need a new car.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get a new car.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, like, I just came back with a renewed sense of, I'm so happy I have this car.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? Yeah. I'm so happy it's here. And like, I don't think about like getting a new car every single day now.
Yes.
I'm just like, it would be nice, but like, I'm fine now. But yeah, outside of that, it's been a pretty chill year.
Yeah.
It's been like okay.
Except Samalutil face. Other than that.
Good mind is the day. Wishaya ikarati enye is serious. But yeah, I will say, and I'll get into my notes now.
Yeah.
Just speaking on the fact that this year has been so transformative for me, it's also the year where I basically this is gonna sound so crazy,
Yeah.
and like so convoluted.
Yes.
But like this year, I decided to just choose me. Okay.
Yeah.
And as a Christian, I mean, that's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
not
get
cute.
what you're saying. Yeah,
It's not cute.
it's not cute. Yeah.
It's not giving Christian
Yeah.
like. But I was just like at a point in my life where I'm basically at a very pivotal point in my life
Yeah.
where I have to make decisions for the betterment of my future.
Yes.
Right. And no, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Like now is the
Like-
time to make the decisions that are gonna stick for your 30s and your 40s.
In your 40s,
you know?
yes.
Maybe in your 30s you'll make decisions that are gonna stick for your 50s and your 60s or whatever,
Yeah.
But now it's like, yeah, no, I have to make serious adult decisions. And is it painful? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
a lot. Okay? Like a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like a lot. But it's one of those things that absolutely has to be done.
Yeah.
Right?
And when you say, wait, just hold on. When you say decisions, what do you mean? Like, what does that?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm getting there. Right. So, I've said this before on our podcast. I don't have a really good relationship with my dad.
Yeah.
No. Let me take that back. I don't have a relationship with my dad,
Yeah.
right? And it's not something I'm like sad about.
Yeah.
Like it's actually kind of comical to me.
Yes.
It's like he's a character I would write in a movie.
Yes.
He's so funny.
Yeah.
He's a funny person.
Yeah.
He's a very funny character.
Very,
right?
very funny.
Yeah, like, and maybe a couple of years ago, it used to hurt me because
Yeah.
we were like so close or whatever. But the older I'm becoming, the more I'm just like, yes, the people have their own vices, and how
Yeah.
they deal with those vices is
Yeah.
so incredibly different to how I would deal with those vices if I had those vices. But obviously,
Yeah.
I'm saying that because I don't have those vices,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not trying to speak about, or I'm not trying to like give him credit or like speak like, oh my gosh, he's such a good person. Shame people just have their demons or whatever. No, he's
Yeah.
actually a horrible person.
Yeah.
And I'm just at a point where I can't let his horribleness hurt me. Like, it's not about me,
Yes.
He,
Yeah.
he's just funny. He's just a funny character.
Yeah.
Right. So, which means I was left with a majority of my mom's family. My mom, my sister, and stuff like that. This year, I'm down to just my sister. So in my notes, regarding this whole family situation, right? I wrote 2 points that this whole situation has like taught me, and I think it's definitely things that I'm gonna take into my next year.
Yeah.
I can't say for the years after that. I don't know
Yeah.
what's gonna happen.
I don't know,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I will just say, I will preface this with saying that, obviously the whole, like, we haven't spoken to each other in like a year now. There has always been like an open door, right?
Yeah.
Like you could always call me. You could always
you've
like,
always, you haven't
Yeah.
like completely like cut off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I
Or
have.
you hadn't. Yeah, you
I
hadn't.
hadn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
hadn't.
hadn't. Like there was always like you could call me or whatever, But I just made the decision recently to just
Yeah.
end all communication, right? For my own safety.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, so my 2 points. One, it's really taught me that like I mean we've heard it over and over again, that like, family is who chooses yay.
Yeah.
Family is not by blood. Blood is
Yeah.
thicker than water, is
Yeah.
not true or whatever. But yeah, that's definitely something that I have come to realize this year. It's something that I can attest to.
And something you want to stick by.
Something I want to stick by, baby,
Yeah.
The group of people that are in my life right now, and Shamang to group, I use that word very generously.
Yeah.
But the people in my life right now are people who are 100% like family to me, and their families are like family to me, and it's always just such a funny thing in that God has basically given me a set of people who are almost identical to the set of people that I had lost,
yeah.
right? So, for instance, I know you and we joked about this like a couple of weeks ago. We say, wow, your brother's my brother.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck,
Yeah.
And this is going to sound so crazy,
Yeah.
but like, your brother has done things for me that like a brother has never done for me, like ever. It's like small things.
Yeah.
It's things that like I didn't even care about this,
Yeah.
but like you cared about
You
it
cared
for
it
me.
enough. Yeah.
Like you cared about it
so
much that now I care about it.
Yeah.
You know, an example of this is like so I think it was last year.
Yeah, it was last year.
Last year, I got gifted this Mercedes-Benz umbrella.
Yeah.
And it got broken during a shoot. Someone broke it during a shoot. And I was so devastated. It
Yeah.
was my favorite umbrella,
Yeah.
you know, and it was that umbrella that I kept in my car. On
Mercedes
Mercedes-Benz, baby. Okay. I broke it. And then now you called me and you were like, my brother's fixing your umbrella. I was like, what umbrella? Like, I didn't even know. I was so done with that umbrella, you know?
Yeah.
And the fact that he had put in so much time.
Dude, he did it actually twice. He did it the previous night, right? To actually see how he's going to structure it.
Yes.
Then he did it with the wires the next day.
Imagine.
And then he calls me, he's like, the umbrella's fixed!
The umbrella is fixed, dude. Like, he
Yeah.
spent so much time, effort, like, attention to detail to make sure this thing works. He had to engineer that thing so much so, you know? And I mean, we've also had this conversation with our friend Karabo.
Yeah.
And I remember just saying that, you know, every single time Karabo does something for me, it heals that part of me that, like, because I've never been in a relationship or known a man that could care about me in this capacity.
Yeah.
It's like it heals a part of me every single time. It heals that part of me rather.
Yeah, especially the part that has to do with men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, like probably for you, it's like men are not safe. Men are not, there's
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's
like,
a lot of
absolutely.
connotations
Yes.
that you've made.
Yes.
And each time, men that are, you know,
supposed to.
yes,
They don't.
They don't.
Right?
But people who,
yeah,
the men now, they heal that part.
Exactly. I mean, I could call Karabo for anything. I could literally be like, hey, listen, I have my car, like, I've literally even done this. My car is dead. Can you come jumpstart me? He could be anywhere in the world, you know?
Literally would make a plan.
That
is the type of person
he would make
Karabo
a plan.
is. Karabo is,
he would make a plan.
like that.
Yeah, he would make a plan.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely, you know? And so,
sometimes, to a point, to the extent where, I'll just make an example, like where you'll even tell him, oh, I'm having such a bad day.
Yeah.
He'll show up.
He'll make a plan.
With ice cream.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh my God. He would be like, oh my gosh, I thought you'd like this.
Yeah,
or,
absolutely.
You know, the fact that he'd even think.
Yeah, it's that type of
consider,
care.
Yeah,
yes, it's that
consider
type of
you
care.
outside of you saying anything. That you don't have to say it.
Absolutely.
It would be provided for.
Absolutely, you know. And those are roles that I felt like, you know, my brother or my dad should fill, but they never have, like ever, you know. So it was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. This is new, you know. But when I think back, I'm just like, wow, God has really structured this whole thing in a way that immediately, like, you know, with immediate effect. As soon as this one's out, the next one is in. Like, immediately. So I feel no gap. I feel no sense of loss, you know. I was even telling you, actually, that, like, when I was complaining, like, during the year. Oh, my gosh, you know, my mom hasn't called me. Wara. And I had someone else's mom blowing me up.
Yeah, every week.
Daily. You know? And I was like, no, man. This is like, I don't know, maybe instead of looking at it from a point of like I'm lacking, or I've lost, or I'm having to take extreme, these are extreme measures. I'm having to take extreme measures in order to make sure that I am okay. I could look at it as like, I'm so abundantly blessed, you know, so abundantly blessed. And it really just paints such a beautiful picture of how God is so, he's in the business of restoring. He's got restorative
the king of
partner,
restoration.
I swear. And I mean, it takes me back to this verse that I wrote. I wrote that First Peter 5 verse 10 says that, And after you have suffered a little while.
Oh my gosh, I think that's one of my verses for something else.
Really?
Yeah, but yeah, anyway, sorry.
Yeah, anyway. And after you have suffered a little while,
Yeah.
the God of all grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you, right? And that's what I want to like bring to, I want to wrap my points up with this.
Yeah.
Not only have I gained or like these roles in my life have been fulfilled by other people or people who care about me, but it's relationships that literally confirm, strengthen, and establish me. Like, so not only was I in relationship with my real family, but instead of gaining, was I losing, right? But now I have gained people who I don't even feel a small little sense of loss. If anything, they keep pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring into me, right? Which makes me feel like maybe this was meant to happen the way it's happening, and it gives me so much peace about the decision that I've made, right? Because it's like in the episode of like daddy issues and stuff, I spoke about how I'm so at peace with my relationship with my dad, because had I still been in relationship with him, my life would look nothing like it looks right now, right? And I'm not saying I'm Beyonce, you know, but wow, going bashile, going dusty.
You always say this.
Going dusty. The dust I would be ipara lomhlaba if I was still in relationship with that guy, because
the structure in which,
the way things are set up, it's to drain me, it's to completely drain me and
to
leave
break
me
you
empty.
down,
Absolutely, right? It's to leave me empty, without, lacking, you know. So yeah, and I mean, I'll just say my second point quickly. Okay, cool. So another thing that this has taught me is that relationships take intentionality, right? We always say this. Always be intentional about the relationships that you have if you want to keep them, right? It's give and take. Not njalo, give. Beso munye, take. Right. And I mean, there was no taking even in my regard, right? It was just always reject. Right. So maybe I could even look at it from a point of saying, okay, even though I was giving, maybe I wasn't giving the right things. Or maybe like they were not receiving it well. Or maybe, but nje,
I like that.
Angsakoni.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is. Whatever it is, it's no longer working for me. Right.
Yeah. And I think also just to add on to, you know, God's restoration as well as God's provision.
Absolutely.
Right? God's plan will continue.
Gahle. With or without the people.
Without the people.
With or without,
this week when I was studying, sorry, this is not on my notes or whatever, but when I was studying the golden calf, there's a part where God says, I will make you into a great nation after they've, you know, meaning God doesn't need the Israelites.
No.
He can make one man. One guy.
God doesn't need anyone.
God doesn't need anyone.
With or without you. I mean, even in the book of Esther, that's such a beautiful picture. Listen, Esther, the king is going to kill the people of God. Do something. Oh, I'm too scared. If you're too scared, say it. God can use someone else. Like, he doesn't need you.
He doesn't need you.
He doesn't need you.
His plan will prevail.
Yeah, the people of God are going to be saved either way. Which is where that famous verse comes from. Like, who knows that you were made for such a time? Right? Malachi was literally clearly saying... Exactly. He was clearly saying, Wuti, the plan of God is going to prevail. Do you want to be in it or not?
Let's decide.
Let's decide.
Do
you want him to use you or do you want him to move on? Like, but the people of God will be saved. God doesn't need God always reaches his bottom line. His deadline, we are reach. And we are reach in the way that it's supposed to be reached. Whether you are in it or not. Whether you are part of the original plan or not. We do without you. Thank you so much. Okay, cool. Do you want to tell us about what you have learned this year?
Yeah, I will get into that. For me, I think the biggest thing, obviously, it's not dramatic or anything because, you know, but so the biggest thing was me getting retrenched.
That's dramatic.
And, you know, every time I tell people this, they're always like, yes, for
retrenchment.
You know, and I think obviously you guys know that this role was given to me by God. I was not qualified for it, and and so when I got retrenched, I was just like,
Wow.
but some things that I was so grateful for. I had graduated, so I was just like,
Thank God.
wow,
Yeah.
God,
Right on time.
right on time.
Right on time.
Right on time, right?
Yeah.
But I think obviously during retrenchment you realize a couple of things, right? And I think for me the biggest thing I realize is that there's certain parts of my life which I hadn't given to God.
Okay.
Right, like certain parts where not in a bad way, like in theory you know that God's way and God's plan and God's
in practice,
but in practice it's so different. I think I know what's best.
Exactly.
And I think also just that my hyper independence comes in there where it's just like I think I can figure it out. And I think getting retrenched was sort of like what am I gonna do now?
Exactly. Figure it out, get Miss Independent. Let's go, Miss Independent. Yeah.
And I think in that process of like getting retrenched, I had to relinquish the power, of okay, I'm gonna find my job, the job with my own strength, and give it to God.
Yeah.
And after giving it to God, like I got so much peace, man. Like yazi benginepeace abantu bathi sorry ngithi ungawari ngami, because of God's peace,
Absolutely.
that is just surpasses understanding.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the first thing. And just trusting in God. Like the peace came from knowing Gutsi.
He's already figured it out. Yeah.
And I think also another thing I will say, I probably wanted to mention this in the friendship episode, but oh my gosh, why am I saying that?
No, it's fine. They know it's coming. It's fine. It's not a secret. It's not a secret. Yeah.
But I wanted to mention, like, immediately after getting retrenched, I called you, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, Ginger. I'm getting retrenched. Ginger was like, like,
let's find other things to do,
let's move, let's move
your time now.
It's not even that bad. This is a shooter, and then you're gonna do things that you like, and just also realizing the community, that I had, community that I had in you, like just that's encouragement, and that everything is gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And ngavela ngaba right after that. And
right.
Ngiyangibona nje ukuthi ngismart tata. Ngathi ngiyasebenza.
Ngoba uright. Uyasebenza ukhuluma ngani wena?
Now, yes.
Ayibo, uyasebenza lona. She has a job now. Ayibo. What the heck?
Yo, because God is so good, and I let it go to Him.
Swear.
Right? And I think the second thing in my notes here is my faith is all I have, right? Hebrews 11, I'm going to read it. Hebrews 11:1, right, reads, faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see, right? I cannot see where I'm headed. I can't see where I'm going to go.
Absolutely.
Right? Or what job, at the time, what job I'll end up in, right? And I can't see that direction, right? But that's my faith. That's trusting that angiyiboni manje ngoba thina I think a lot of the times we want to see things physically.
You want tangible evidence.
You want tangible evidence, You say you go to the gym, where's the body?
Yeah.
That's an example, right?
It's
and again ngiyajima and anginayo and ninga please.
No, mara wena uyisgora.
Something similar like that, right? Or you say your God is big, but you don't have money.
Yeah.
Or you say your God is big and you have to pay, and sometimes that's what I'm alluding to, right? Is that my confidence is in God, right? My confidence is in what I cannot see.
Yeah.
That trust in Him, that's where my confidence lies, right?
Absolutely.
That's my second point, right? And my third point, I think the importance of staying positive. And I think even with us, like how we mentioned that it's been a chilled year. It hasn't been chilled.
It's been very dramatic.
It's been really
this
dramatic.
Has been a very dramatic year.
It has been really dramatic. Yeah. But because of that positivity,
absolutely,
life and death comes in the power of the tongue.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
And seeing the glass when I hate this. People who see the glass half
Half
empty.
empty, yeah,
You know, just
yeah.
I think establishing that, you know,
Yeah.
to see things through, see that, you know, God is still here. Like for
Yeah.
me, obviously I have a job now, but even getting interviews, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm getting interviews.
Yeah,
God is
yeah.
so good. You
Yeah.
know, God's hand is still on your life, right? And also just find things that you're thankful for. Sometimes in like seasons of
More down. Yeah.
like awubona izinto ezinhle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And First Thessalonians 5 says, "Be thankful in all circumstances, for God's will. This is God's will for you, belonging
Yeah,
to Jesus." So
absolutely.
see
I think,
things-
a perspective change is really, really necessary.
Yeah.
Like, if your perspective is not positive,
Yeah.
baby, everything is gonna be down.
And again, you know what? You make it even
You make it worse. You make it worse.
Like it's on ground level, but then by
You take it
being
to
negative, you take
basement.
it to basement.
You take it to
or
basement
the
3,
core
yeah.
of the earth.
Exactly.
Hell.
When you start to the
To the core.
to the core,
To the core.
yeah,
Yeah.
to the core. Like a perspective change is so necessary.
It is.
When I'm in a funk and I'm just like, what can I do
Yeah.
to exit this funk? I just look around. Like I
Look
I said
around.
this before. Like I said this before. I literally sometimes cry because I'm just like, I just had a shower.
Dude.
I just had a shower.
I-
Yes, mina ngikhulile eThembisa besigeza endishini.
Endishini. Khona ijoke leyo ukuthi I don't know, but like looking as an endishini. Sorry, I'm not trying to offend anyone.
Yeah.
Where the father goes to, or the mother goes to, athi, awuchithanga amanzi wakho endishini.
Uyayibona ke?
But now you can shower.
Indishi, I'm sure ngigcine 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I should be grateful for that.
Yeah.
Like, I should be grateful for that.
Yeah.
You know?
You've come so far.
Absolutely. Like, my sister and I always talk about the fact that, you know, bougie nyana ne? And this is something I
can confirm and attest.
And part of
And
my,
that's okay.
Part of my 2025 New Year's resolution is to stop hiding who I am.
Yeah.
I am a snob.
I'm a snob and I'm bougie.
I'm a
okay?
snob, and that's that. Like, I'm just not gonna lie anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna dumb it down.
I'm not gonna
yeah.
dumb it down anymore. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know. But I'm just like, the progression of my life is something that revealed this to me.
Yes.
Right. Because I mean, I've always thought, you know, I'm just like a down to earth girl next door vibe.
Yeah.
I just want to be relatable. No, you're not.
You're
No,
not.
you're not. You
You're
like
not.
nice things.
You're not.
You like expensive things.
Yeah.
And you don't like ghetto things.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You don't like it.
Yeah.
And you like convenience.
Yeah.
And you're gonna pay
And
for
I'm
it.
gonna pay for every
For
single
every
chance I
single
get. I will
convenience I need, I will pay for it. Okay,
Yeah.
and I'm not even
Yeah.
gonna be like, wow, you know what, and sometimes that does get to me. You know,
Yeah.
I do sometimes, and I'm just like, wow, you know what, this is not who I am.
Yeah.
Who am I? Why do I need a helpang shalangi one? No, you need
That,
one.
yeah,
You need
yeah.
one. You need one. Like
Angeke,
angeke, you know.
angeke.
So it's just like it's things like
100%.
that you can really and truly be grateful for.
Yeah.
You know, in your
like
life.
for me, something, it might be small, but my clothes are ironed. Like for me.
Yes, your clothes
Like
are
I
ironed.
didn't have a job, but
folded.
my clothes were ironed and folded and packed
Gashi.
every week.
Exactly.
You know, things like that.
Yeah. So you need a perspective change, definitely. It's so important.
It's so
And we're not
important.
saying we're rich and look at us, ngabo Beyonce
No,
and
we're
stuff.
not.
When we're going through tough times, we
Yeah.
can always look at the glorious gold around us.
No.
Wow, this is so great.
Yeah.
But it's just to say there's always something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
You know?
There's
if
always.
you just take a look around you,
Yeah.
uzobona ukuthi no, right. I mean, abanye abantu abana family. Wena kini niyazwana. That's something to be grateful for. Whether bakretrenchile or indoda yakhe ikulahlile or I don't know, you don't have
know what it
money
is, yeah.
or you don't have whatever. You don't
Yeah.
have friends.
Yeah.
That's something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, I really love that point.
Yeah, I think those are my points.
That's your point. Yeah.
my
So
points. Those are the things I've learned.
in essence, this year has been so very dramatic.
Yeah.
Very, very dramatic.
God has been
But God has been equally dramatic. On a drama. In a good way.
In a good way,
You know?
yeah.
And we continue to trust in God, especially for the new year.
Yeah.
I know personally for myself, I've rather planned the rest of my year to structure it in such a way that the transition into next year is very, very seamless, and that I can.
Sorry.
And that I can really cement some. Sorry, I'm so distracted now.
Sorry. Okay.
That I can really cement some habits and some routines and stuff that will enable me to do all the things that I've planned out for next year. And just to include God in all of those. Also something that I'm really, really excited for next year is this podcast.
I was actually about to say that, but I was like, should I say it?
I'm so excited. Yeah. Like, I feel like this year was like a trial run.
Yes, it was.
And now we're starting to get into like
what we actually is,
what we actually like, how we actually want to run this thing. We've also seen like
what you guys like as well.
Exactly. I mean, we also had not bad for first couple of months of a podcast. We have our first brand sponsorship, which has been so amazing.
So good.
I hope you guys saw it.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to a lot more of those. And hopefully next year, this time when we are having this reflection, it's nothing but joy.
Yeah.
It's nothing but money. And the goodness of God. Exactly. With that said, that is our episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Noli, for the last time, where can people find you?
Lou_Ansala.
That's all. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at _Genesis Wholeness Wellness. Follow me on Instagram at Ginger in Real Life. Don't forget to subscribe, obviously. Before I kick you, don't make me kick you. Yes, subscribe, please. It's free. Sis Shilu in the beginning. Umahala is mahala.
And if you don't, we'll find you.
Yes, exactly. Don't make us clench our fists. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and we will see you in our next one. Bye.